can consistently interrupt our wing gusts. The person that comes to mind right off the bat is going to be Nox. Nox is super annoying for us because all she has to do is throw down her 2, and then it's going to completely stop our wing gust. Hello everybody, we are here with your Eset middle guide. And so right off the bat, I'm gonna hit you with something a little bit funky, and that's because mid laners right now in this meta, after all of the recent nerfs to conduit gem, you don't buy a starter item at the beginning of the game anymore. So I'm gonna be going right into Warlock Staff because of the item that I'm going to get in the late game. It is going to scale really well with this. Most mid laners right now are choosing between Book of Thoth as their first item and Warlock Sash as their first item. Book of Thoth obviously going to give you a little bit more damage, a little more damage oriented. Warlock Sash a little bit more defense oriented, but it also comes with 10% pen, which is nice for the late game. So I'm going to go the Warlock Sash because of the starter item that I'm actually going to get later on. So right now, the 2 starter items that people end up getting in the mid lane, that was a unfortunately very poor red pull. Right now is going to be Boomba's Hammer and Sundering Axe. Those are really the 2 starters that mid laners are going. And so you're gonna actually get your starter as your 5th item. Right around that 5th item slot, you should be getting level 20. And so you'll be able to build into a full-blown starter item. With the Warlock Sash in Boomba's has that 5% HP that you get back with your autos. And so having a little bit of extra HP from your Warlock Sash actually scales really well off this. Now we don't need to be afraid at all here with a Neja and a Eset. We have a way better fight than they do. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into them. I know Scylla doesn't have her root because she used her dash earlier. Her crush is down. She can do absolutely nothing to help out her Suki. He had just used an ability on the mid Harpy. So I feel free to walk right in there directly at their faces because they have nothing up. So my goal is going to be to get this Warlock Sash online as soon as humanly possible. The quicker that I can get it online, the quicker I can get it stacking. A baseline, the stats are actually pretty decent now. 85 power, 150 health, 200 mana, 10% magical pen. And when you get it fully stacked, it goes up to like 140 magical power. It's actually a very good item. The problem with it in the past has just been there wasn't a good time in the build to go into it. But now with the constant nerfs to the Conduit gem and to the Archmage's gem, it's really opened up the possibilities for mid laners. And so you actually are speccing mostly for that late game. So I am in general, a fan of the Boomba's Hammer late game more than I am the Sundering Axe. The Boomba's Hammer works really well with mid laners that have a lot of CC potential. So a god like Eset is perfect. Ability, auto, ability, auto, ability, auto. You're stunning, you're silencing, you're stunning, you're silencing, you're stunning, you're silencing. Very annoying for the enemy to deal with in the late game. Sundering Axe, is that what they call it? Sundering Axe. Basically, think of that as old school Soul Reaver. For all intents and purposes, it is the new version of Soul Reaver that mages are buying for the end game to help deal with tanks. It's like if Soul Reaver not only took 10% of their health like it used to, but also gave you 10% back. So you get a lot of sustain out of it, but you also get that huge damage to help with your tanks. I'm gonna yeet my Spirit Ball right over that wall, grab us a quick kill, continue to go back aggressive in this mid lane. So now that I've got my Warlock Sash online, I'm gonna just be sitting here, getting that stacked up. Neja does not have his ulti, but I actually might be able to combo the Scylla. Didn't quite land my Spirit Ball, but he goes for the ulti, which is very greedy. Speaking of greedy, I'm gonna go for the ulti myself, and that's gonna be able to pick up that kill right there. So for our ability order here on Eset, we are going to be leveling up our 1 to max first. It is also the ability we got at level 1. This is our main lane clearing ability. At level 2, we got our 2. This is our Spirit Ball. It is our stun, and it is going to be the ability that we max out third. And then finally, our silence. Really good in the late game. Early game, not bad either. It's that 1.5 second silence. It goes up to 2.5 seconds, but that is going to be the ability that we level up last. So our level order is going to be 4, 1, 2, 3. For our standard combination, we're going to be going for long range Spirit Balls. Spirit Ball does more damage the farther that it launches. So if you pop it immediately, it does less damage than if you were to let it go all the way max distance. Now, obviously, you want to pop it and get the damage whenever you're going to get the hit. But if you can launch it a little bit further, then you're going to get more value out of this. You also have extremely good early game lane clear. She's probably more viable than she has been in a very long time because of that early game lane clear, especially being one of those guys that didn't need conduit gem to begin with. I think it actually helps her out even more in the meta because her clear was already so strong. You go out, you clear those archers, you can go very quickly for that level 2 fight, and you have a very strong level 2 fight because you can immediately get that stun online.
Attack middle lane.
I level 8, I'm gonna save my point so I can get my wing gust all the way leveled up and get a second point in my ultimate. Scylla is actually a great matchup for us for a couple of reasons. One, she can't really root me out of my wing gust. So that's going to be fantastic. So as long as we're wing gusting, going aggressive, there's nothing she can really do about that because we are immune to roots and knockbacks in this ability. She also has to stand still. For her ultimate, we gain extra movement speed in our wing gust. Plus, we've just got a lot of CC in general. And Scylla generally struggles to clear the wave right now. Scylla, a very strong mid laner. I don't want you to think that she's not good. Objectively, a very strong mid laner right now. But her early game is her weakest part of her game. And Eset is a great god to take advantage of that weakness and get a couple level lead like I have right now. I'm going to throw down my ultimate right where she's going to come down. The second she comes down, I'm just going to pop that. Make sure we get the kill. Now I'm looking right on my Neja. I'm going to follow up with a silent on top of the Neja, which is also going to get him a little shield. And we're going to be able to get a fantastic fight going here on this one. Neja Eset, beautiful combination. A lot of the times she doesn't get thought about for that big ulti follow-up, but she actually has one of the singular highest potentially damaging abilities in the game. When her ultimate gets that full charge on it, it absolutely slaps. Now, one thing also that I see a lot of players do is always trying to get that full ulti value. A lot of the times, I like to just throw it over a wall and quickly go ahead and get the last hit. It's not that long of a cooldown, so it's not the end of the world if you throw it down to grab that kill right as it's getting away. But its main purpose is going to be around objectives. Around objectives, we're going to be able to throw it down, let it charge all the way up, and get a huge amount of damage off. Speaking of objectives, we should talk about the proper way to objective secure with Eset. That is going to be you throw down your ulti. You want to let it build up as long as humanly possible. You're going to get more and more damage off of it. And then you want to time your Spirit Ball for right when it's going to explode. So you can pop your ulti and your Spirit Ball at the same time. Spirit Ball can be popped at any time, even if you're CC'd, even if you're dead, whatever. You can always pop it. So you want to throw it out right when your ulti is about to explode. So that way you get the Spirit Ball damage and your ulti damage at the same time. If you're pushing towards a full build, it's not unthinkable for you to do in the like 2,000 to 3,000 damage range with that secure on a Gold Fury, on a Fire Giant, whatever. So I'm going to start off with my silence onto the Suki, and then I'm going to follow up and kill the Geb. So right there, you kind of saw our little combo. I silence him. If you're not confident in hitting your Spirit Ball, you could always use your silence first. This is going to also slow the target, and it's a protection debuff. So it's going to help you do more damage. So you can silence them, slows them down, makes it a little bit easier to hit that Spirit Ball. After you hit your Spirit Ball, you follow up with the Wing Gust.
On my way.
Now, if you think you're going to need even more damage than that, then you would actually start with your ultimate and then go through that chain. So right here, I think I might need my ultimate. So I start with my ulti in the silent, and then I go for the follow-up with the Spirit Ball. I don't hit the Spirit Ball. If I would have, he would have just been stuck basically inside and he would have died. Because he wasn't, we still got enough damage off though. So you're kind of just going reverse down the line. Ulti 3, 2, 1 for that damage combo, or just the 3, 2, 1. Now for my third item, I'm going to get a Spear of Desolation. We still want that CDR on Spear of Desolation. It's going to give us a ton of damage. And the Spear of Desolation, passive minus 2 seconds off of our cooldowns, on top of the minus 1 second that we're going to get from our late game Boomba's hammer, is practically unstoppable. We've got the fully stacked Warlock staff, so you can see 200 health, 145 magical power, 200 mana, and that 10% magical penetration. That 10% magical penetration is crucial. So now I've got 10% pen and 10 flat pen already here at the 11 minute marker. So I'm not even that afraid of tanks right now, because it would be hard for them to be too much tankier than that at this point. For my fourth item, I'm going to go right into the Rod of Tahuti, which is going to give me another 10% penetration. And then fifth item, we grab the Boomba's hammer, which is once again going to give us another 10% pen. So we're actually going to have 30% penetration in this build without even building a standard pen item like a Karen's coin or an option. So it's going to decimate tanks. Plus, we're also going to have full CDR. Reminder that your passive on Eset gives you that MP5 and HP5, but when you get it fully stacked to 10 on the funeral rites, you actually have 10% CDR built into your kit. So if I have Desolation, a Boomba's hammer in my passive, I'm actually capped CDR with just those two items. I don't even need a red pot. I don't need a soul gem, whatever. Although soul gem is always going to be an advisable item to build with Spear of Desolation in Boomba's hammer. So especially for the gods that don't have CDR built into their kit. When you're getting your cooldowns that low, you get a lot of benefit out of the soul gem because you're going to be proccing it over and over and over and over and over. The more flat cooldown reduction that you can get, the better soul gem is. So right now I see a Suki back here, but I'm not going to go for him. I'll throw down a silence onto the Geb, slow him down, reduce some of his protection so I can do a little bit more damage. Also, to be noted, that silence gives out a shield to your team. So don't forget that this is also a shield. It goes up to 270, and that's going to proc on all of your teammates that are within range. So when you use this ability aggressively, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. So I see that the jungler and mid laner kind of looking my way. I'm going to go for a pretty long Spirit Ball here if she moves up. Unless the Neja is going to go for the ultimate. If Neja goes for the ulti here, well, I got to be careful. I'm going to silence Asilla so that way she can't follow up with any combos. I think it's going to be enough to kill him, so I'm not going to throw down my ulti beneath his feet. AMA comes in with her own ultimate. I'm actually not afraid of him at all. So I'm just going to kind of sit here and tank him. I don't preferably want to have to ulti him here, but he is quite fast. And luckily, I hit him with the Wing Gust, so I do not have to. I'm going to be able to keep my pressure on mid. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to throw out a spirit ball at this Geb. He's going to get slapped with it. I'm going to silence right on top of the Suki, get a bunch of damage off. I'm going to try to follow up with the Geb with my wing gust. My wing gust would have normally been on cooldown, but because we get the kill, I get that Spear of Desolation proc. Takes away an extra 2 seconds. Bada bing, bada boom. Now I need just a couple hundred more gold in order to get that Rod of Tahuti. Rod of Tahuti works really well for multiple reasons on Eset. One is obviously damage is good on mages, obviously. But the second part is that it's going to give us that huge potential sustain as well off of our ultimate. Our ultimate comes with a big heal. So if we're below 50% HP, we're going to get huge value off of this healing scaling. Absolutely massive value. Now I'm going to back up. Got to get myself that Rod of Tahuti. And I'm going to start saving up cash a little bit. This game, we've got a little bit more cash than XP. Normally, I'd be a little bit higher level now, but we're really getting a lot of objectives going in the cash department. So I might need to start working on a 5th item. But I don't want to spend too much money because I want to get that Boomba's hammer online as soon as possible. For our god matchups on Eset, we hate going against people that can consistently interrupt our wing gust. The person that comes to mind right off the bat is going to be Nox. Nox is super annoying for us because all she has to do is throw down her 2. And then it's going to completely stop our wing gust. Kumba Mez.
I'll attack the
Anything that takes very low effort to interrupt our wing gust, because that is our lane clear. It's our main form of damage. It's really our entire kit. So if you can interrupt it super easily, Apollo Mez, anything that's going to be quick, instant, that there's nothing really that you can do about, is problematic for us. So watch out for any gods that have abilities that can do stuff like that. For what we like going against, we actually like going against the more late game mages in our laning phase. So Scylla's a great example. Have no issues going against her whatsoever. I'm confident that I should be able to push the wave on her, take away from XP, maybe be invading her jungle. And so Scylla will get behind, and then she won't be nearly as intimidating in the late game if she's down 2, 3, 4 levels. Also, any god, any god that we can outclear, like a Scylla, but we do have to be careful against some of the other early game fight characters. While we are good at it, characters like Morrigan can also clear the wave really well. She also has that stun at level 2, just like we do. And so a lot of the times, if you're going against another god that has just as good as lane clear as you do, it's going to come down to the jungle. If their jungle rotates first, chances are you're going to die, and now you're getting snowballed on. If your jungler rotates first, well, chances are you're going to get that kill, and now you're snowballing. So you just have to be very, very careful if you're going to go against another god that has extremely high early game clear. Watch for your positioning in the early stages. Traditionally, if you're the god out clearing, you're probably going to be closer to their tower than your own. We don't have a real getaway skill. So you've got to be careful if you get yourself all pushed up and then they're rocking Robin in the jungle and all of a sudden he blink roots you. And you're sitting there and you're like, I don't have any blah, I'm dead. And then you die early and you get behind. You do not want to get behind early on gods that want to snowball. Everybody's been behind on Thanatos and felt how bad it is. Same kind of concept. If you get behind on Eset, you can get dove really easily because you don't have an escape skill. Your clear is channeled, which is great because of how much damage it does, but it's easily interruptible. You're easily dove underneath your tower, so you got to be careful of that one. If you are finding yourself in a position where you're behind, it's going to happen. The best of players have bad games. The best of players get cheesed in early game. It doesn't matter. If you're going to try to play more passively,
Nice job.
And defensively, use your ultimate on top of your body. Your ultimate is going to give you some nice percent mitigation. So you get 20% mitigation while you're sitting inside of your ultimate. I can officially now get myself my Boomba's hammer. And then right for now, for this game, I'm actually going to work myself. Let's see, they got a Scylla, they got a Cuba, they got a Suki. In this game, I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive, and I don't mind the overcapping on my CDR, so I'm going to get myself a Soul Gem. So you throw down the ulti on top of yourself. The longer it builds up, the more heal you're going to get out of it. And of course, you're getting that 20% mitigation for the entire time, the entire 5 seconds. You throw down that silence, that's going to build you up a little shield. It's going to stop them from using abilities. You stun them inside of there, that buys you another second. And you've got your wing gusts for that additional movement speed for just trying to kite them around inside of your ulti. So you can buy yourself quite a bit of time on Eset. If you play it right, even if you're behind, you're just going to be using those abilities mostly on top of yourself, playing very, very defensively. So now that I've got my Boombas online, all I'm going to do is just spam my abilities. So I can throw down an ulti. I can throw down a 3, I can throw down a 2, and then I just auto attack in between, and you're gonna watch my cooldown go from 3 seconds right on down. I can do this over and over and over again. In my cooldowns, basically I have none. It also does a little damage proc. It's kind of like having a little mini Hydras on towers and stuff. So you can also use it in that way. I can cancel out my wing gusts, just keep rocking. And you can see how I basically just don't have cooldowns anymore. I can just consistently be spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming.
Be right back.
And that doesn't even factor in if I were to get myself a Spear of Desolation proc, that would be entirely separate. And once again, lower my cooldowns by about 2 seconds every time that we get a kill. It also makes doing things like Fire Giant a little bit easier. And you get a bunch of sustain. Remember as well, you get that 5% sustain from the Boombas. This is what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about our HP that we get from Warlock Sash being nice. We get that 5% of my maximum health heal. Because I have more health, I'm getting more value out of the ability. And it allows me to do things like tank the Fire Giant as a mage with relative ease. Once the Fire Giant gets down to about 3k, I'm going to throw down my ultimate. I'm going to combine my ultimate and my 2 at the exact same time on the Fire Giant. And we're going to get that secure. So we combine our Spirit Ball and our ultimate at the same time for the biggest of big secures. She already has one of the best secures in the game with her ultimate. So if you just combine the Spirit Ball on top of that,
I'll attack.
It's just that much better. Spirit Ball can very easily be hitting for somewhere near 1,000 damage as well. At this point, we're just gonna go ahead, shove right up the left lane. I can continue to use abilities to spam to get my my cooldowns back up. Bada bing, bada boom. And I can try to get my ulti up just a little bit faster. And now it is already back up. So at this point, I would preferably like to save my ultimate for the Titan. Because if I throw down my ultimate on the Titan, the game is like guaranteed over. It'll sit there, build up the entire time. And we'll be able to just absolutely delete it. Gab has rolled in, which means that's going to be probably a dead Gab. I see that Scylla is ulting, so I'm going to launch my Spirit Ball right towards him in the backline. I use my 3, which means my Spirit Ball is going to immediately back up because I used a Wing Gust and got a kill with Spear of Desolation. My ulti is going to come back up again, and we're going to be able to go attack straight for the Titan. So this is why you are not seeing mid laners buy their traditional starter items right now. Because why would you buy a traditional starter item when you can have 0 cooldowns, or when you can have an extra additional 10% damage every 7 seconds with also a 10% steal on that Sundering Spear? I personally prefer the Boomba's hammer. With my playstyle, with the aggression that I like to do, I find that it's a little bit better for me. But try between the Sundering Axe and the Boomba's hammer on your mid laners. Right now, start off with either the Book of Thoth or the Warlock Sash. Try between those two. See which one you like better. You get a little bit of variety. Some characters like to do a little bit of one of the other. So find which one you like the most on which god, guys. And that is our Eset middle guide. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.